Okay, this is it. This is something new for me. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Matthew. This is MattTv on StreamYard. This is for the first time. Now, I'm just going to get something right off the get-go. I need to say this because this is new for me. I'm doing this show on a laptop. I'm using StreamYard, and I need to focus on two things. There is a green dot on the laptop, which is the camera, which is what I'm looking into right now. And then behind that is a picture of my good friend, Dwayne Jones. So I'm kind of going back into, and just allow me to talk just for a couple of moments about this. This goes back to when I was in radio broadcasting at NBCC Woodstock. When you were learning to speak on the microphone, you knew that X amount of people were listening, but you only spoke as if you were talking to one person. So right now I'm focused on just talking to my good friend, Dwayne Jones, and doing MattTv. Again, I'm just looking at, I'll show you the difference. I'll actually show you the difference right now, looking straight into the camera on the laptop. I'm now looking at the picture of Dwayne Jones that I have set up on the lamp behind the laptop. And now I am looking at the screen itself. So you can see the difference. You can see the difference. So again, and the reason I say that, going back to NBCC Woodstock and just learning how to speak to one person, kind of get you over the anxiety of the hundreds of thousands of people who could be listening, definitely in this day and age right now. But also the reason I'm talking about this, watching Thursday night's episode of the Daily Social Distancing Show with Trevor Noah, where he was speaking with Jon Stewart. They were having this exact conversation where Jon Stewart was looking at the screen or looking at Trevor Noah and wasn't looking at the camera. So it was really, really odd. But for me, I guess when you do a show and you're interacting and reading comments, you do have to look away from the camera in order to read the comments, yes? It's just, right now, I'm just focused on keeping my eye and speaking to the camera. I know my vision is good enough that I know that no comments have been made yet. I can quickly glance to see that two people are watching the broadcast. Again, this is new for me. This is a MattTv episode for the first time, streaming via StreamYard. So I'm on StreamYard, but it is in sync with my MattTv page. It will save after the broadcast. So I'm looking forward to, in just a few moments, I will be inviting Paranormal Investigator, writer, horror film director, Nick Mulue from Glenview, Illinois. And I'm excited because we're going to do a split screen with the StreamYard. I just downloaded it yesterday, so bear with me. So the comments are coming in. Okay, so I'm not surprised that the first comment is from James Underhill with his nightly and daily James's Jukebox musical moment. I think that's what we were going to go with. Glory, welcome to the broadcast. So if you see me glancing away, it's just because I'm reading comments, but I will have to look at the keyboard because I will be inviting Nick Mulue into the broadcast here in just a couple of moments, as it's 4 minutes after 2. My apologies to Nick. We did communicate yesterday. There was original plans to do a show last night at 6 p.m., but work had me away from home longer than expected. So I didn't want to be rushed. So I was in communication with Nick yesterday, and we decided that today would be a perfect opportunity to get caught up on what's going on in Nick Moule's world. Okay, and I got a lot going on here. And before, Nick, I hope you're not in too much of a hurry. Just give me a couple of moments I just want to tee up what I'll be speaking about after our conversation, because we'll get to our guest, Nick Mulue, here in just a couple of moments. So I just want to ask this. Does it look, which would you prefer? Right now, again, I'm trying really hard. I didn't go to school to look into a camera. So it's new for me because I've always done my shows for over 3.5 years. I've done my shows on my iPhone. So doing it on a laptop, looking into the camera is a bit different. Am I doing okay? Does it seem like I am looking? It really has to project that I am looking at you. If I look at the screen, that's not where you are. We're eye contact here. I'll take my time. Okay. Kate, welcome to the broadcast. I'm going to assume that you are a friend of Nick. Nick's been on MattTv for many, many times over the years, so I'm looking forward to getting caught up. Okay, just give me a moment here. So what I'll do is I'll just tee up some of the things I'll be discussing on my own, just observations, things that have happened to me over the last week, because I think it's been a week and a day since I've been in here doing a last show. So if you're not familiar with MattTv, my name is Matthew. I'm in beautiful White Rock, British Columbia here on the western part of Canada. I've been doing the show in my garage and through various parts of North America over the years. So I'm just trying to make things that are happening to me relatable to you, talking about current events and interviewing people and just having fun. I'm just so thankful that, Facebook was created. You can say what you want about it, but I choose to use the platform to give MattTv another platform. So I'm very thankful for Facebook Live and right now StreamYard. So, okay, take my time. Okay, here we go. So I want to start off MattTv. This is what I always do. I like to compare the weather. The weather out here the past week has been okay. It's overcast right now, probably 16, 17 degrees here on the South Coast. Sunshine returns tomorrow, and it looks like it's going to be a very pleasant week. I know the heat wave. I'm interested. I'm from New Brunswick. I'm Maritimes. So I'm wondering if the heat wave continues on the East Coast. If you can give me a current temperature, what the current weather conditions are like in your area. I know I'll be speaking with Nick in a couple of moments about a recent storm. There was a storm on just a few hours in the summer solstice last Saturday. There was a storm that Nick put up on his Facebook page. There was another storm last night. So we're going to talk to Nick because not only is he a paranormal investigator and a writer and a director, he likes to chase storms. So if you don't know who Nick Mulue is, we'll give you a chance to find out a little more about him coming up in just a couple of moments. See, you can see the difference where I'm looking at the screen. That's not normal. So I'm looking at the camera, doing the best that I can. Okay, so we'll speak to Nick. We're going to give you an update on what's happening with the flag. The flag is getting ready to make an East Coast trek. I'm excited. I like it when the flag goes away. And just a sidetrack, one of my coworkers mentioned that I should get insurance on the MattTv Canadian Unity flag because it is a thing now. There's over 1,000 signatures on this flag. So what are your thoughts? I don't know anything about it. I know I always get nervous. I always get nervous when I send the flag. When the flag leaves my possession, there is a bit of stress until it arrives safely into the arms of where it's going. The recipient, as they say. Okay, doing a good job. Thank you so much. Okay, 25 Bear Island. Bear Island, what part of... Update me on my Canadian geography, please. Okay, here we go. Also going to be talking about the power of thought. I've said this many, many times. If you've watched MattTv over the years, you know that I'm a big believer in manifesting. Thoughts become things. And I could tell you all kinds of stories. I once manifested a $50 bill within 8 hours. Not a $20 bill. I didn't ask for, I hope I find money. I specifically asked to find a crisp, clean $50 bill. And within 8 hours, it was like one fell out of the sky. If you want to know more on that story, you'll have to go back into the MattTv archives. But it's a dandy. It's a dandy. So I'm going to talk about how thoughts become things and just a trifecta of things, observations that I had within 45 minutes on Friday morning. So I'm going to talk about that. 2 more work days. The company that I work for, I have 2 more work days. My contract expires at the end of June, which is Tuesday, June 30th. We'll see what happens. There is talks of maybe extending my contract. So I'm going to talk about that. Canada Day. Canada getting ready to celebrate 153 years. What are your plans? Does your staycation continue? And what is continuing for me and winding down? I have 4 days left, 4 days remaining in my 25-day. So what I've been doing over the last 22 days, today will be 22. or 21. I've been doing 25 push-ups every day, and I will continue to do so until Tuesday, which will bring me to day 25. And every day that I've done those push-ups, I've nominated someone else to do the same thing, just raising awareness for mental wellness and PTSD and just stress, and just always keeping that right here in the front of your mind. Yes? Okay. So I'm going to talk about all that stuff after I speak with paranormal investigator Nick Mulue, as it is just after 10 after 2. I got a clock set up over here. So again, this is new for me. The StreamYard is new, but I am excited to speak with Nick. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go down. So pardon me, I am looking at the keyboard here. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to send it to Nick. I'm going to send it to Nick, and he'll get a response. Okay, it tells me to close the tab. Okay, so I believe that I have just sent an invitation for Nick Mulue to join the broadcast. So this is all new to me. So from here on in, whatever happens, we're in it together. We're in it together. Heat wave in the UK, 27, 30 degrees. Last few days, stormy day, which came from France. Okay. I'm between Nakawik and Mactaquac. Oh, so I'm just wondering, Angie, are you on what side of the river? What side of the river are you on? Okay, so we got Nick Mulue here. Just let me do a split screen and see if that works. Nick, can you hear me? Edit name. Oh, add to stream. Sorry.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, brother? Nice.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Yeah, this is great. I'm just so thankful for the technology. I honestly, baby steps walking through StreamYard, and this is amazing. I'm so, you've been on my show numerous times, and we used to do the split screen on Facebook Live back in the day, but that is since gone. And yay for StreamYard.
I actually recently, I managed to somewhat save the episodes I've been on your show previously, and in addition to that, I also numbered them so I can remember how many there have been on. I've been on your show now, including this one now, 12 times.
Seriously?
Yep, 12 times.
Wow. I was thinking more, maybe 7 or 8. But so this is your 12th appearance on MattTv over 3.5 years.
That's correct. Yeah.
Awesome. So here, I don't know if you saw the very beginning of the broadcast, but I'm doing the show on my laptop, and I'm trying to train myself to look specifically at the camera on the laptop. When you do these shows, what do you do? Are you doing the same thing, or are you looking at the other person doing the split screen? Because it looks awkward, right?
I kind of do a combination of both. Recently, I just got a new computer. It's a desktop this time. This is what I've actually been using for the other shows. And the screen that I'm actually using right now is actually a television, like 40-inch television screen with a webcam on top. So I'm kind of doing a combination of looking both at the screen and the camera. But when I look at the camera, I have to look upwards because it's higher up compared to a normal webcam. You can kind of see the quality of the camera. It's about a 10, 15-year-old webcam I'm using.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it serves the purpose because for me, I'm looking at the camera. I can see your image just below, and my eyesight's okay that I can see what you're doing, but I can't really make out your mouth moving, and I certainly can't read the comments. So it's a bit of a learning curve for me, but I definitely want to, as far as professionalism moving forward, I know that anyone who's ever gone to school for TV, you have to keep your eye on the camera, right? Because you have to get it into your mind that you're speaking to just one other person.
Oh yeah. I definitely agree. When I first started, looking more into the camera, if you will, it was kind of strange for me because I wasn't used to it myself. But after a while, you pretty much get used to it then.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you've had a ton of practice being in front of the camera and doing all kinds of interviews. Just tremendous success. I'm just curious, how are you tapping into those shows? How are you becoming guests? Do you have a favorite show overseas? Like, just bring me up to speed on what you've been doing in this whirlwind the last couple of months.
Well, for starters, to actually get involved in these shows, it's a combination of different things. Because first off, what I like about being a part of these shows is not only am I, able to talk to somebody about, my interests and stuff, but it also gives you the, it's like an alternative to the paranormal events that we unfortunately, have been unable to do because of this lockdown. But how I get involved with these shows now is it's two different ways. Either I usually will get, I would say at least half of them, someone would come up and, either they've seen one of my appearances on another show or they've heard about what I've done and stuff like that. And they basically say, hey, want to come on our show at some point? And, I never say no when they offer me to their show. But the other way of how I do it, because it's like I'm trying to keep this cycle going, if you will, and almost continue that adrenaline or excitement. Because when you go on shows like this, people always think it's just simple, video chat like you do with Skype or whatever webcam programs, but there's a difference to it. So the other way I do it is I'll usually watch some of these other shows first. That way, so they can get to know who I am at first. I don't just approach them immediately, unless they approach me first. If they say, after one episode, want to come on our show, I'm all for it. But when I approach the shows myself, I'll watch maybe about 3, 4, 5 episodes, and then send them a message and say, first off, I'm really enjoying your show. I think it's really well done. You guys talk about a lot of very interesting information, and you guys are ever looking for more paranormal participants, I'd be more than happy to participate. So those are the two ways I do it. Either I get invited or I offer it to them.
Well, I don't think, because of what you do, I don't think a host of any show would turn down a potential guest who has their own stories to share, right? Of course, they're going to say, yeah, come on and let's, y'all have
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've said this a few times, not on the show. I've been saying this actually to a number of people, but all these shows have been a lot of fun. But I'll tell you right now, though, I have yet to have come across one host of a show that has turned down my offer.
Okay. For people that are watching the show for the first time, this is Matthew. This is MattTv speaking with Paranormal Investigator, writer, horror film director, Nick Mulue. Where are you, if you can bring us up to speed, where are you with those 3 different aspects of your life? Your paranormal investigating. I know everything's kind of in limbo right now because of what's happening, but just bring us up to speed in what you're doing with your writing and your directing.
Well, right now for directing, it's kind of been put on hold. However, it should be noted though that I actually am working on a video. That, matter of fact, kind of spoiler alert, if you will, I was actually going to add your name on it too. What I'm doing is I've seen a lot of paranormal investigators throughout the country, showing how depressed, how sad, how bummed they are that we aren't able to get together, for any of our paranormal cons, because as we've talked about previously, they're more than just, simple paranormal conferences, festivals, investigations. They're like family reunions. It's like coming home, and we miss everybody. So at one point, it gave me this idea of putting a video together, which, there's been a few other videos already like this out there, but this is going to be kind of unique. It's what I'm kind of calling my own para-unity. I don't know if you've heard, there's been this term now that's been called para-unity, where it's all paranormal investigators, no matter where you are, supporting each other. And I thought this was kind of a perfect way to kind of put some, the video is going to be just really 5 or 6 minutes, maybe at the most. I'm just going to just say a few things. And then afterwards, there's going to be a whole credits of all these different investigators and associates names through not only in the U.S., including Canada. I mean, Canada. I got obviously connections in Canada, so there'll be names. Like I said, I'll make sure to add you because you've kind of somewhat been an associate, if you will, in other parts of the world. So this is going to be something pretty big. I'm looking forward to doing. So I've actually already started working on the credits. We just haven't shot the video yet.
Okay. Well, I can honestly say the next time that I'm absolutely terrified for my life, I hope you and Tom are standing next to me.
I'll make sure of that.
You mentioned reunion. One of the words that kind of stuck out in your last little bit that you were talking about, and in anyone who's ever seen the show knows that my guest, all I've done is I've gone through their own Facebook page and I've just pulled information off of there. So everything that Nick and I are talking about are things that he's already posted. So nothing is going to come as a big shock or anything. But you were pretty excited about the reboot of Drake and Josh.
Oh, Drake and Josh, yeah. That's gotten a lot of people's attention. Well, I guess you can kind of say has gotten a lot of us late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s kids' attention.
Are you a big fan of reboots? Because I know you love horror films. Would you rather just stick with the original, or if they can pull off a reboot, you give it a thumbs up?
See, normally, hang on, let me just fix my camera over because it's kind of been dangling down. All right, there we go.
Where's the cat?
Yeah, I know. Oh, the cat. I don't know where she is this time. I do remember last time she was sleeping in the garage, so she might be, despite the fact it's like 85, 90 degrees out here. So, so to answer your question about the reboots, most of the time, I'm usually not much of a huge fan of reboots because I already know for a fact they're not going to share the same atmosphere as the original series. Plus, when you have a new generation of kids, watching television these days, unlike us, they're not really going to know them as much as we do unless they continue to appear in projects like this. Mm-hmm. But I think as long as you're able to get all the cast together, the original cast, it might still have a chance. And that's what I've been seeing so far.
So not only are you a paranormal investigator and a writer and director, you also like to chase storms. I know we were supposed to do a show last night. Because of reasons that were out of our control, we didn't. But you were able to record a magnificent storm, and you also recorded a storm just a few hours into summer solstice. What's the big draw to document this force of nature in front of your eyes?
Oh, man. I mean, let me just say for starters that what I saw last night was not only one of the most beautiful storms, but also probably the most unearthly looking storm that I have ever seen. It was unlike anything because I didn't really see it at first. I was having a conversation with my mom, and my mom, who's facing the window, says, "Nick, you got to turn around." I turn around, and although the pictures, appeared pink, and like with the human eye, it was red outside. Like it was so red that the ground was even glowing red. It was. I didn't know what I mean. Even still to this day, I don't know what to think about what I saw. It was incredible. Mm-hmm. But for me to document it, see, whenever I storm chase or do my storm and weather photography, and I've learned this from other storm chasers, when you capture something either on a photograph or video, you're capturing something that could literally it can only ever happen once. It could literally be lost forever once it occurs. And that's the greatest, awesome thing about taking, photography and videography on this kind of stuff. Because once you capture it on a photo or video, from that point on, it's there forever.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I'm just kind of, again, anyone who's watched the broadcast knows that Nick's just a friggin' rock star. But I've just gone through his Facebook page and just kind of creeped it out and pulled information off. So something else that was on your Facebook page, according to iHorror.com, Stephen King is looking to perhaps write a novel about Jason Voorhees. You think
that, I mean, I still haven't really gotten a lot exactly of what's going on with that, but that definitely grabbed my attention because, most of the time I haven't really heard him make such an original story, you know, at least for the last 10, 15 years. So, but he's always, you know, he's definitely a master of horror. So for him to start writing a story like this, maybe he just needs the job. I don't know what, but, you know, he's always doing well with it. So I think he should definitely stick with it.
Favorite 80s horror slasher?
Oh, man. That's my favorite 80s horror slasher.
For me, I'll just throw mine out there right now while you think about yours. Freddy Krueger was mine. he was, I mean, yeah, he was a horrible person, but he was funny.
Yeah, I know. That's the best part about Freddy Krueger. It's like he's this guy who literally will terrify kids under the age of 10, and any kids 15 up, he always tells funny jokes and they enjoy them. And I was pretty much that age when I started learning. But going back to my 80s horror slasher film, I have a bunch. I don't have just one. I can at least tell you 3 of them to begin with. Top 3. I love My Bloody Valentine. Obviously, the original one, not the remake from 2009. It's one of the more vicious slasher films. I, of course, love Friday the 13th. And my third would have to be, oh, man, the last one's always the toughest. Because it's like there's all these, because the year 1981 was the one year, I think, when most slasher films came out. So it's hard to really decide exactly which one could be your favorite. But I think for now, it's going to always change, too. It's going to have... I'm going to have to go with, oh, shoot, what was that movie called? Oh, man, I can't even remember what it was. All right, you know what? I'll just go with Nightmare on Elm Street, too. I just can't think of that other movie. There were so many of them.
Halloween? Were you a fan of the Halloween movie?
Oh, well, I mean, considering that was released in the late 70s, yeah, that is an immortal classic. Okay. You know, you can't have slasher films without Halloween.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally, for sure. That was his literally his weapon of choice was a large knife. So
just a butcher knife, and that's it.
Yeah.
So and you know, most people always, and not to mention another movie actually, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I actually was partially watching that movie a few days ago, and I love how both movies, they're really not that gory as everyone always says they are. I mean, they're literally bloodless films, yet they consider them some of the most vicious, gory slasher films of all time, despite not that much. I mean, if they were both released today, they would definitely be PG-13 than R-rated.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Look, it's coming up on 2:30 here, 4:30 in the Glenview, Illinois area. I'm just going to keep you here for a couple more minutes. But I do want to ask you about a picture that you had up on your Facebook page from 2018. You were on Mark Hall's bike. What's that all about?
That was kind of my debut for showing my patch, my vest, if you will, because since my vest I was and pretty much the one like I'm wearing right now are obviously biker vests. I kind of thought it would be cool what it'd be like to actually wear my own patch, because you know my vest obviously was based off of real motorcycle clubs, and they have those pictures of them posing with their patches on and stuff. I thought, how cool would it be if I actually wore my patch and not actually ride it, but somewhat kind of pose like a real biker would. So I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I definitely give Mark credit for it. Mark, in fact, he's actually one of my IPF Paranormal Investigators.
Okay, awesome. It was funny when you were telling that story. I got distracted and was actually watching the screen. So it'll be funny to go back and watch the show later and just see, because I think I've focused the whole interview just looking at this green dot on my laptop, and it's hard because I just want to look down and see your handsome face, Nick. But listen, brother, I always appreciate you coming on the broadcast, and I'm so thankful that many weeks ago I was watching one of the shows you were on, and someone had mentioned StreamYard, and even Tom had sent me a link to it. So I finally got around to downloading it, and I'm just so thankful that it exists where we can get back doing split screens where I can kind of see you, but kind of not.
Yeah, I think StreamYard at this point, I mean, some people have also been using Zoom, but I think as a result of the split screen issue with Facebook, even though they brought it back, it's kind of already too late now because StreamYard has been kind of the alternative for Facebook Live for talk shows like this. I mean, I actually got another show coming up in a couple of weeks called Talking the Paranormal with Mike Simpson. He lives out in Ohio, and he's pretty much, I think, the only one I can think of that still does the Facebook split screen. Mm-hmm. So everybody else, I mean, I'm not encouraging him to try to use those others because, you know, you got to have someone to kind of continue on the tradition, the old-fashioned way, if you will.
Yeah. Well, this here is, I mean, with StreamYard, I could invite another 4 people in here. I think I can get in up to 6 people, but I don't know.
Correct. Yeah.
But I know it syncs up with my MattTv page, and it's going to be saved, so that is good. One final thing, Nick. As a Canadian, as your neighbor, as a concerned global citizen, I'm just wondering, how are you doing in the Chicago, Illinois area in the United States of America with COVID-19, with this global pandemic, with a president who seems to be coming unhinged? How are you doing? You know, I really want to know how you're doing.
So honestly, I mean, being in this lockdown has been really tough. I mean, for starters, I'm still working. So, and honestly, that's really the only time that I'm really able to go out, venture into the outside world. Although recently we just entered phase 4 in Chicago. I'm sure you've heard of the news, obviously. I mean, not only with our president, but the southern United States it's out of control. I mean, they have been doing, I mean, you look at states like Florida, Texas, and especially Arizona, they've been going through the worst. But here in Illinois, I mean, if I had a map right now of how the states have been looking, we've actually been doing so much better. I think that, I mean, literally the chances of getting COVID-19 have decreased rapidly. It's still, I'm not saying it's gone completely, but in Illinois, I think it's just because we've been much more sophisticated. I mean, we have a fantastic mayor in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. My mistake. We have a great Illinois governor. So it's not only just here in Chicago, it's all throughout the state of Illinois that we've managed to keep ourselves up. But as for myself now personally, it was tough for a while because I wasn't able to really socialize with a lot of people. I'm finally able to do that tonight with a couple of friends. We're going to still keep our distance. And but yeah, it was really rough being so isolated. I mean, the phone calls and the talk shows helped, but to me it was like not enough because it's like you could not embrace anybody. You couldn't actually hang out with them, you know, as long as you wanted. So it was definitely a tough. I mean, I've been stuck for the most part about 2.5 months. I mean, the last time I really saw my friends were back in sometime in mid-March.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I'm thankful that I was able to stay employed through this whole thing. So I was able to, you know, leave the house every day and actually socialize with workers and whatever. So I'm thankful for that. But that's coming to an end, unfortunately, for me. But I'll talk about that after we say our goodbyes here. But Nick, be safe.
If I can just say one other thing, by the way, because I saw in the comments, I just want to give a couple shout outs. Bob Hunt is on. I was on his show just almost a week ago now called Keep It Real and Spiritual Paranormal Events. So it was great being on his. And then I was on another show with him just 2 days ago. That was called, I don't remember what it was called, but Kate, who was also on it, was part of it. Zarina, I could see I was on her and Sean's show, Into the Abyss, about a week or so ago, and Gemma Lee Drury. I'm going to be on her show in just a couple weeks. But most importantly, because I think this is also a perfect thing to say, I have another paranormal friend of mine named Cynthia. She lives out in Iowa. I want to try to give out my support for her and her husband Roland. Roland is in the hospital right now. He has neurological brain damage. that he's in a coma right now, and we're very concerned. So Cynthia, if you're still watching, I just want to let you know that you have all my support. I'm praying every day for you and Roland, and I'm hoping that at some point he'll be able to make a recovery. So I just thought this would be a perfect time to give my support out for her.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Nick. I just want to say too, for anyone that is watching this broadcast, knowing that I was going to be speaking with paranormal investigator and writer and horror director Nick Mulue, thinking that they were going to get more information about some of his experiences, MattTv is a little bit different. I like to use this to allow you to get the more personal side of the individual that I'm speaking with. So if you want to know more about Nick and his paranormal investigations and his writing, I would suggest to you, Nick, just put a link up to whatever social media site and just lead people towards you that way.
Yeah, I mean, I have pretty much all the websites and apps that you could think of, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, house parties, Skype, Zoom. I got all of them, but for the most part, I usually use Facebook the most, so I'll just probably post my Facebook link.
Okay. Nick, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy the first full weekend of summer, and let's do this again real soon, man. Like when the next time the opportunity arises where you can get back out on the road and you're doing an investigation, I would love to go live with you, even just for a few seconds, to take my audience into wherever you are. I think that would make for great television.
Oh yeah, it definitely would, and I'll continue. I'll update you about this video that I'm still putting together. So even though, I mean, in addition to you, I'm adding a few others that are not entirely paranormal investigators, but again, have been kind of associated with it. So I'll keep you updated on when it's done. It's going to be a few more weeks, but eventually I'll have it up soon.
All right. Well, I'll be right here, brother.
All right.
So can you exit the show, or do I have to remove you?
It's actually pretty easy. Yeah, it's leave. There's a button right here called Leave Studio. So I have to make that decision.
All right, Nick. Thanks for hanging out, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Always great talking to you, Matt.
Okay. Take care, brother.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye. Okay, that was fun. That was paranormal investigator, writer, director Nick Mulue from Glenview, Illinois. I'm going to continue on this broadcast as we approach. I just realized that this is an afternoon show, and it's 25 minutes away from 3 o'clock here in White Rock on the south coast of British Columbia, Canada. How am I doing? I'll read the comments later, but that whole interview, as much as I wanted to actually look at the monitor and see Nick, I just really focused on looking at this green dot in this laptop, because that's where the camera is. So that's just what I'm going to continue to do. Okay, so thank you for the live views. Nick, thanks for hanging out, man. That was just so much fun. I'm just so thankful for the StreamYard. MattTv will never be the same. I'm going to start booking. I'll be sending out lots of messages today for individuals who want to do exactly what we just did with Nick Mulue. I think one of the first people I want to talk to is I'll be sending an invitation out to Brent and Patty Underhill, who continue to do the nightcap with Brent and Patty on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Atlantic time. And check it out. Keep it local, yeah? Keep it local. Okay, so a few things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to completely zip through. I have 7 things I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to try and do it here at 2:38. So I'm going to try and be out of here within 7 minutes, okay? I'm going to try and be out of here at 2:45. And I think I can do it if I would just get to it. Okay, I want to bring you up to speed on what's happening with the MattTv Canadian Unity flag. It's got over 1,000 signatures. It will be heading to the East Coast. It will be making a stop in Fredericton, New Brunswick. It will also make a stop in Nova Scotia, and then it will be back out here. But it will be in the province of British Columbia for Canada Day, which is coming up on Wednesday, July 1st. Depending on the weather, I may take the flag into the city and get some more signatures on it. My supervisor at Iconics Waterworks, Ron Walker, is the latest signature. So over 1,000 signatures. One of my coworkers actually mentioned about getting it insured. Okay, so that's what's happening here. This is something that I've talked about many, many times. thoughts become things. And I just want to tell you a sequence of events that happened to me yesterday morning, and a little backstory to one of the situations. I've been in contact with a former coworker, Etienne, in regards to getting together possibly on Canada Day. I haven't spoken to Etienne for a few weeks prior to this communication on just texting back and forth. So I'm thinking about, and I have been thinking about getting together with a former coworker, Etienne, for Canada Day. So keep that in mind, that I'm thinking about this one individual. And I have been thinking about getting together with this individual and his girlfriend in the city or somewhere in Canada Day for about a week now. Thoughts become things. Remember this. So yesterday morning, before I go to work, I like to do a couple of laps around the block. So it's about 7 o'clock Friday morning yesterday. I'm walking around the block, and this lady on a bike cruises through the intersection, and she turns because it's 7 o'clock in the morning and there's someone else in the street. And she turned and waved, and I just waved back. As I kept walking, I realized that the lady had turned around because she had mistakenly thought that I was her husband, but wished me a great day anyway. That was strange. That was so strange. Secondly, on the way to work, unfortunately, I saw a dead feline, a dead cat in the middle of the road. And I thought to myself, what would be worse? As an owner, finding your cat dead on a busy road, or B, having an eagle spot that dead cat, swoop down, pick it up, and feed its young, and you never know exactly what happened to your pet. Two scenarios. I know it's kind of weird. And then just a few seconds later, and going back to thoughts become things, I have traveled this road, 184th Street, for 2.5 years. Northbound, southbound, at the beginning of my day, at the end of my day, and not once have I ever seen Etienne on that road until yesterday morning. My final Friday. I got 2 more days of work. That was my final Friday that I would ever be driving on that road to work. And who did I see going southbound, who has never traveled on that road before because he's never had any need to? He was driving to a destination for a one-time job. I saw Etienne because thoughts become things. He was in my mind, and he had been for a week. Think about it. Going back to manifesting a $50 bill. I wish I had time to tell you that story, but I got 3 minutes left. Okay, I just wanted to tell you about that. Was Friday. That was before 8 o'clock yesterday morning. I know, bizarre day it was. Okay, a couple of other things. Like I mentioned, I have 2 more work days. My contract is done the end of June. There is talk that they will extend the contract for maybe 2 or 3 months. I will be asking for a raise. If I don't get it, there will be no extension to the contract. That is quite firm on that. On Facebook today, going back and forth, going through the news feed, all I can say is when you repost something, make sure that you are educated about it, or you will get educated about it. That's all I can say. I was just reading this post this morning and the threads of people just arguing back and forth and back and forth. And when in doubt, leave it out. Like I said, if you're not educated on the repost that you're putting up on your own page, you will probably get educated quite quickly from multiple people. So just think about that. Think about that. We are getting ready to celebrate Canada's 153rd birthday. And that was there were 150 signatures on this flag for Canada's 150th birthday 3 years ago. What are you doing? What are you doing for Canada Day 2020? If anything, who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen? Okay, just under 60 seconds left. This will be a 45-minute MattTv, but I just want to finish by saying this. For the last few weeks, I've been doing 25 push-ups every day, and I will continue to do so until June 30th. That will be 25 straight days of doing 25 push-ups, raising awareness for PTSD, depression, mental wellness. And I've been nominating someone every day. So we'll be finishing this broadcast and doing 25 push-ups, and maybe I'll be nominating you. Maybe. Okay. Sorry, just glancing away. looking at the clock, and I know I know my time is up. And I'm going to end this broadcast. Big thank you to Paranormal Investigator, writer, film director, Nick Mulue from Glenview, Illinois. That was so much fun. Thank you, StreamYard, providing this so I can get back to doing split screens. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you for the live views. And if you're watching this at your leisure, I appreciate that as well. Okay, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to go make a coffee and watch my own show and see how I did. Critique myself. Be safe, and we'll see you back here on MattTv in the near future. Yes? Okay. This is Matthew. This is MattTV. Now and always, from sea to sea.